everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had some breaking sports world news this morning. And since I am way ahead of the East Coast in the US, being based on London time right now, I got this news a little earlier than a lot of the other YouTube channels, so let me break it first. It appears that in the UFC, Silva and Diaz have both failed their drug test. Now, a lot of people send me this stuff because they always want me to report on the drug testing thing because it's something I know a lot about, have a lot of experience with in my life. And what I always remind people, I'm not a hater or judgmental on this kind of thing. I'm really not. I don't judge these guys. I just accept this as part of the sports world. I take a neutral moral approach on it. I don't judge these people. Some people think it's horrible. Other people say it's a good thing that people are using drugs. You know, I take a neutral approach. I really don't care. So I'm just being a pragmatist about it. I just accept the reality that that is the way the competitive sports world is, particularly when big money gets involved. Clean athletes are so rare in the big leagues in sports. They are so rare as to be statistically irrelevant. They're not even worth talking about. So we have the situation where Diaz, it isn't quite as big of a deal because he got popped for marijuana, but he's still going to probably get a suspension for it. It's just interesting when we get two different fighters from the same fight where the entire field is tested positive in a sporting event. So that's kind of rare. And then we got the situation with Silva too. I'm actually surprised what Silva got popped for was Drostellone, and the street name is generally called Masteron. The reason that surprises me is because most serious athletes who fail a drug test, they fail a drug test because something got faked. They bought something off the black market and they didn't know what they were taking. It's very hard for a smart athlete with good coaches to fail a drug test if he knows what he is taking. But when someone gets something off the black market, because most of these drugs are illegal, so the black market is where people gotta go, the odds that they're going to get something that is mixed with something else or cut with something else or mislabeled exist. You figure a minimum of 10%, if not more, of the stuff floating around out there is not what's on the label. That's what happens when you buy things illegally off the black market. But in this case, he got popped for a relatively rare, relatively expensive substance. That's one you don't ever accidentally take. No one else is going to cut a cheaper drug with expensive Drostellone. Not that easy to find these days. So that being said, this is not a case of mistaken identity. He simply screwed up on the clearance time, or he had been told he wasn't going to be tested or was going to be given a free pass on a drug test, or something happened. Something went wrong with some arrangement he had for him to have failed this drug test. Now, I can't speak to what specifically happened there, but to me, as someone who's been around this game quite a while, the fact that he got popped for a substance like that, which he's going to know the clearance time on, the clearance times on that substance are very well known. It's an expensive, relatively difficult to find substance. A lot of people have been getting popped for it lately in sports, though. And it makes sense for weight class sports because it is generally considered a fat-burning steroid. It's not unusual that someone in a weight class is going to get popped for something like that. It's actually a good choice for what they're doing. But something clearly went wrong politically. Something went wrong for him that he got popped for that, because this guy is going to know, and his coaches are going to know the clearance time on Drostellone. And so for him to have failed a drug test, it's either they didn't carry the one when they were doing their hand math and didn't bother to use a calculator somewhere, or he got tested and wasn't cleared through a test that he was supposed to be cleared by somebody. Something went wrong for him politically. But this does come back to another point I always make with you guys. Don't take people's word for it. The people who talk the most about being anti-drug and pro-drug free are oftentimes the worst offenders. And you got a case here again. What has Silva said in interviews? He has said that people who fail drug tests should get a lifetime ban from competition. Yet this guy gets popped. And I've known guys like it. I've known guys who own gyms, who throw people out of their gyms for using drugs or rumors of using drugs, who they themselves still use them. And they put on this big facade. And guys, remember, at the end of the day, the whole drug-tested sports world, irrespective of what sport it is, it's all a big dog and pony show. And oftentimes the guys who pop off the most about being anti-drug are the ones using the most stuff. It's an act. It is an act to draw attention away from them. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.